Welcome back, everybody, to more from the Sable Eyes. I'm here on PTCGO with Jordan. How's it going, Jordan?
Very well, Mitch. Very well.
That's good. After some real dramas trying to get this bloody camera to work for whatever reason, we can finally have a crack at looking at this list together. This is Gustavo Wada's Pikachu Zekrom, Jolteon, Zapdos, Tapu Koko, Zeraora, Jirachi, My Shadow, Tapu Lele list from Cairns special event, or Cairns special event if you're not an Australian person. So yeah, I thought we'd just have a quick look through the cards that we've got and then play a game and hope for the best. What do you reckon?
Sounds good to me.
Beautiful. So our first card in this list, our main attacker, and our big boy from Team Up is Pikachu Zekrom Tag Team GX. 240 HP with full blitz for 150, 3 lightning, and then search for 3 lightning from your deck and attach them to one of your Pokemon, which is beautiful because it obviously powers up Tag Bolt GX, which is 3 lightning for 200, and if it has 3 extra lightning energy attached, we can do 170 damage to one of the Pokemon on the bench. So, in a perfect world, we can full blitz, turn 2, take 2 prizes, Tag Bolt turn 3, take the other 4 prizes we need to win the game, and then go home. Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, both of the attacks on Pikachu Zekrom are just so insane. It's no wonder that seeing these attacks on a basic Pokemon means it's going to see a lot of play.
Yeah, there's a reason that it's doing well. And going alongside it, we got a ton of lightning support Pokemon to go with it. We've got Zapdos, which we featured recently in our Zapdos Jirachi list. It's a pretty solid 1 prize attacker. Thunderous Assault for 1 lightning, 10 plus 70 if it became your active. With Choice Band and Electro Power and that kind of stuff, can do some damage. Plus, only gives up 1 prize, which is pretty solid. We also have with us a plethora of other attackers, like one-of attackers. We've got Jolteon GX, which is a promo card that came out alongside Team Up, but is incredibly expensive for some reason on PTCGO. Don't worry about it. It's just a fun little background story trying to figure out where I'm going to get enough packs to buy all these cards with. Electro Bullet, 1 lightning for 30 and does 30 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Pretty good for setting up some numbers if you're trying to set up numbers for Zapdos or even for Pikachu Zekrom to get that extra 30 damage down the track. Pretty good attack. It's got Head Bolt for 110. Not amazing, but you can use it in a pinch, especially with Thunder Mountain Prism. And Swift Run GX, if you're in a position where you don't want to use Pikachu Zekrom's GX attack for whatever reason, you don't like taking 4 prizes, you can Swift Run for 110 and prevent all effects of attacks done to this Pokemon next turn. So it's a pretty decent backup option.
Yeah, it seems like Jolteon GX is a card that wasn't really seeing heaps of hype straight away, but now with a lot of lightning decks starting to become more popular, Jolteon is certainly climbing the ranks as it's a very good counter to Zapdos, hitting it for weakness without being hit back in return.
Yeah, and it one-shots it if you've got 1 Electro Power, which is a bonus.
Yeah.
That brings us to our next couple of GX attackers. We'll go with Zeraora first. This is a pretty solid attacker and a good support for this deck. Obviously, its ability Thunderclap Zone means that if you've got Pokemon with electric energy attached, they have free retreat. And you've got some pretty bulky boys in this one. Zapdos has got 2, Zeraora's got 2 retreat costs, Pikachu Zekrom is also a pretty fat boy with 3, so, you know, having the electric free retreat is pretty solid, and Plasma Fists is not a bad attack either if you've got 3 energy attached to it. 160 plus your multipliers can get you anywhere that you need to go. Probably not using full voltage GX unless you're in a really rough position though with this list.
Yeah, you wouldn't really need to use full voltage too often, but Zeraora to me seems like the card that came out a set too early. It's got so much potential. Everyone was hyping it before Lost Thunder came out, but it never really saw its full potential until Team Up.
Yeah, until it got all those extra cards to support it. We also have Tapu Koko GX. Aero Trail puts it into the active, and you can attach all your energies and stuff to it, and do a nice Tapu Thunder GX for however many energy your opponent has. Tapu Koko GX is a really good counter for the mirror. Pikachu Zekrom puts a ton of energy onto the field. You can just blow it up with Tapu Koko if your opponent's silly enough to attach it all to one guy. Or you can use it to close out a game late if you need to. But usually you're probably hoping that you don't have to worry about Tapu Koko. He's more of a kind of a last resort attacker. And you're probably going to attack with Sky High Claws more than Tapu Thunder, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it seems like a really good card to help you close out games once your board's kind of been depleted of energy, but it is very good, as you mentioned, for punishing your opponent and going way too aggressive by putting all their energy on one Zekrom. Most of the time when your opponent puts 3 energy on 2 different Zekrom, it's very easy for them to punish you for going Tapu Thunder, so don't go for it too often, but you can certainly catch your opponent off guard if they're not ready for it.
Yeah, so you've got the option, it is there if you need it. Into our more techie supporty Pokemon, we've got Tapu Koko Prism. With Dance of the Ancients, we can accelerate lightning energy onto our bench, and with all of our methods of switching energy around, Energy Switch, Tapu Koko GX, we can get it onto the places we need them to be. It means that if you're lucky enough, you can actually power up your Pikachu Zekrom to attack turn 2, which is pretty solid.
There are some crazy scenarios where you can even get full blitz off on the first turn if you get enough energy switches in Tapu Koko turn 1, but even the consistency of getting turn 2 is more than enough to make this card super good.
Yeah, 100%. We also have with us here a copy of Absol with Dark Ambition. This is to counter all those Zapdos Jirachi decks that are going around. Giving your opponent one more retreat can really screw over decks that are really relying on escape boards. So Jirachi with only 1 retreat, an escape board on it, still needs an energy to retreat with the Absol in play, and it creates awkward situations for your opponent. So it's always a good bench hitter, and if you don't need it, you don't need it. You don't have to play it down.
Yeah, there's a reason why Jirachi's one of the more expensive cards in the game right now, and Absol is basically just a direct counter to Jirachi, just trying to take away all the conveniences that Jirachi gives your opponent.
Yeah, and whilst we're talking about Jirachi, this list plays 2, because it's a good card, and why wouldn't
Very good card.
Very good card. Stellar Wish, turn it to the side and look at 5 cards and pick a trainer. Seems pretty good to add consistency to your list. Because you're not reliant on picking up items and stuff like you are with Zapdos Jirachi, you only use it in a kind of a supporting role, the same way that Ultra Necrozma uses it. So you're not relying on it all the time. It's just a really, really good card. Why would you not play it? Gives you an opportunity to pick up the extra stuff that you might need along the way. But you're not so reliant on it that you have to fill your bench out with them.
Yeah, Jirachi was a card that, once again, was not really seeing a lot of play in lists to begin with, but it's now starting to become more and more standard, just as people realize if you have bench space for Jirachi, it's almost always worth having it in play.
There's no reason not to have it there. And our final couple of Pokemon, we've got 1 copy of Let Loose Marshadow, just to really annoy your American opponent, because they hate drawing 4 cards over in the States.
I don't think anyone enjoys it.
Because of course you would. And 1 copy of Tapu Lele, and I don't think we have to go through that one. I reckon that's a pretty clear-cut card. So we've got a pretty varied Pokemon line. We've got lots of 1 copies of all sorts of stuff. So it means that you're going to be starting with different starters every game, but, you know, most of them are pretty decent, so you're not so upset about it. Moving into our trainers, just to move this one along, we have 4 copies of Lily to draw up to 6. I'll keep that up on the board whilst I'm talking about it. Draw up to 6 or 8 on the first turn. Best draw supporter on turn 1. Most consistent. To have 4 of them, so you want to make sure you've got as many as you can. I don't need to talk about these too many because you've seen them all before. 4 copies of Guzma to kill things that we want to kill. Don't want to have big boys on the bench that we can't knock off, so Guzma them out and get rid of them. Only 2 copies of Cynthia, because you've got the Jirachi and the Lily, and because Pikachu Zekrom kind of accelerates all that you need to accelerate on its own. It's not so important to have those extra Cynthias, but you know, Shuffle Draw 6 is always a good effect. This list also has, interestingly, 1 copy of Acerola. When you've got a big boy like Pikachu Zekrom, if it doesn't get killed in one shot, you can just pick it up and redistribute all the energy that you've got in your hand and reorganize yourself, take 3 prizes away from your opponent. I think that's a pretty good inclusion. And finally, we've got 1 copy of Volkner. Some lists of Pikachu Zekrom early game were playing multiple copies, but only 1 is really required to pick up that 1 knockout the turn that you need it. You can search out the things that you need and the energy that you require to get the knockout. So, pretty solid and well-rounded supporter line, wouldn't you think, Jordan?
Yeah. The relatively small draw supporter line is starting to be more and more common in these Jirachi-based decks, but I think it especially makes sense in decks like Zekrom, where usually you want these high draw support accounts to make sure you're never running low in the mid to late game. But for this deck, there often isn't a mid to late game. It kind of aims to end the game in the first few turns, so you really don't need to make sure you have an endless supply of draw supporters for a game that might only last 4 or 5 turns.
Yeah, exactly. So normally, if you're on the 6th turn of playing Pokemon with this deck, you're probably not in a great position. So it's one of those decks where you just kind of attack every turn and you either win or you lose.
Besides the first
simple, but hey.
Yeah, besides the first few turns of setup, you realistically would rather see Guzma or Volkner to get the one card you're missing on almost every other turn, and Ace Roller being that card that kind of swings games that you would usually maybe lose, turns them into potential wins, is just such a strong card that these seems like supporters you typically rather use than draw supporters in the middle of the game.
Yeah, so going into our trainers now, we've got 4 copies of Ultra Ball, discard to find a Pokemon. We also have 3 copies of Nest Ball, just to put basics onto the bench. As you can see, most of the Pokemon that we are using, we can just chuck them straight down. Pretty much the only one that you can't grab with Nest Ball, or the ones you can't grab with Nest Ball, Tapu Koko GX probably not, Lele and Marshadow probably not, but the rest of them, all perfectly fine. And since Eevee's got Energy Evolution, which we didn't really mention because, come on, you know what Eevee does by now, it's essentially just saying that Jolteon's on the bench with a Nest Ball, so you can't complain about that. Pretty solid ball search options.
It's pretty cute as well that you can use Volkner to essentially search for a Jolteon GX, getting the Nest Ball and the Lightning Energy required to evolve.
Yep, just chuck that one straight down. Although make sure that you do check that the Jolteon is in there, because that would be embarrassing if you were to do that play and then not have the Jolteon available to you. But hey, it could be worse. We've also got quite a few switching options. We've got 1 copy of Escape Rope. We've got 2 copies of Switch and 2 copies of a Skateboard. It's going through those pretty quickly. Obviously, when you've got Jirachi in a list, you want to make sure that you've got opportunities to switch into it, and you also want to make sure that you can maneuver yourself around as easily as possible. Now, with Zeraora in the game, you're probably not super worried about your attackers retreating, but sometimes when you get stuff stuck out in the active, like a Lele or an Absol or a Marshadow that you might not want to be there, you still need that energy attachment. You can just manually use one of those trainer cards to get yourself out, which is a pretty solid addition, something that I hadn't personally seen too much of in Pikachu Zekrom going.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to think that even in a deck that plays a card like Zeraora GX, that you would still see so many switching cards, and that's just a testament to how strong Jirachi's ability is. People want to really get as much use out of that ability as you can each game. Yeah,
and if you were a person that managed to get yourself some gold skateboards when they first came out, when they were worth nothing, then you're rolling it at the moment.
It's also worth noting that having these inclusions, even though they're not directly for this purpose, does give you an inbuilt counter to Muck, which would usually make it quite annoying trapping your Pokemon active without the access to Zeraora. So
yeah,
you have an inbuilt counter to Muck. It will shut off your Jirachi, but
you've got the switch outs, doesn't really matter, yeah. And plus you've got the 4 Guzma as well, so that's
very true.
That's 9 switching methods. If you don't have one, you'd be pretty unlucky.
I think you'll be fine.
Yeah. We've got some damage modifiers, 2 copies of Choice Band to add 30 to GXs, and 4 copies of Electro Power. One of those cards that didn't see any play until suddenly Team Up came out and everyone is playing Electro Power. Adding 30 to all the attacks, it's pretty good. It's
such a good card that it's pretty crazy to think that it only is just starting to see play now. Add 30 to an attack is very similar to cards of previous formats such as Hypnotoxic Laser, which were absolutely insane. And even though it's type specific, I don't think that adding 20 or 30 damage to a card has ever been bad.
No. And I think it's a testament to the way that the Pokemon company's kind of going with their cards at the moment. I don't know if you've noticed, Jordan, but there's in the next couple of sets, there's going to be a lot of fire support as well. So it looks like they're going in kind of blocks. They're going to release in multiple sets a whole bunch of support for one type, and this is us getting our electric support. And next sets we'll get some fire support, and probably and we've got some dark support coming out as well. So
I've seen a bit of metal support as well, but right now it's clear that lightning is the type to play if you want to have support on your back.
Electric, 100%. We also have 2 copies of Energy Switch to move some energy around, because obviously with Tapu Koko Prism you might want to attach those 2 energy to one Pokemon when you're not allowed to. So Energy Switch can help you out there.
It's actually a fairly low counter of Energy Switch, I noticed. A lot of lists are playing 3 to 4, and we've even seen lists that are playing effectively 5, such as Jose Moreira's Oceania list, which ran the multi-switch as well. So interesting to see that Gustavo's chosen to go with a smaller count of energy switch.
And I think the reason he's done that is because you've got more one energy attackers, right? So the list isn't as reliant on hitting the Pikachu Zekrom. You've still got the extra outs around the place. It's kind of a bit of a hybrid of both Pikachu Zekrom and Zapdos, which probably gives it a bit more flexibility with energy placement. So,
for sure.
So there'll be games where you don't use Pikachu Zekrom at all because you've got other stuff going on. But hey, it is what it is. And if you can't get that extra energy that you need, that's fine, because you can just play Thunder Mountain Prism to make the costs of your attacks 1 lightning less. So now your Zapdos attacks for free, your Jolteon attacks for free, your Pikachu Zekrom does 150 damage for 2 energy. That sounds pretty good. I can't complain about that.
The fact that Thunder Mountain and Tapu Koko Prism are both for the same type is just insane to me. Like, you can pull off realistically any lightning type attack with a combination of those 2 cards.
Yep, you just pop them down, you'll be fine. Just do your damage, no problems. We also have 1 copy of Aether Paradise Conservation Area. Basic lightning Pokemon take 30 less damage from attacks, so you can be sitting there dealing a whole bunch of damage with your Electro Powers and your Choice Bands and your really, really good attackers, and then suddenly your opponent can't one-shot you when they think that they can, because Aether Paradise cuts 30 damage off. So attacks from like fighting Pokemon that do 120 damage actually do 90, which isn't a knockout on Pikachu Zekrom anymore. So they need to find multipliers, and it just screws with math that people have very meticulously planned for.
Yeah, do keep in mind that it does reduce the damage after applying weakness, so it still will do 210 damage rather than only doing 180, but that's still not enough to kill a Zekrom.
It's still the exact same thing. You still need the Choice Band, right?
Correct.
So it doesn't really matter. Although obviously it will when I get judge called on it because I'm an idiot. But that's fine, don't worry about it. PTCGO will do all the maths for me. So that rounds out our trainers. We've just got 11 copies of Lightning Energy to round out the list.
And of course the Rescue Stretcher is fairly self-explanatory.
Missed it, yeah, that's alright. Everyone knows what that card does. But yeah, so that's our list. We're going to play a game. We're going to see what happens. Jordan's going to tell me how bad I am whilst I'm playing. I'm looking forward to it. Look at that. I haven't played on the ladder since the last time I had one of these. I probably should test more.
Oh, you got a win streak at 2, so you're not doing too badly.
Yeah, I'm a hero. Oh, alright, let's see what happens here. Looks like we got some psychic and some fighting. Alrighty.
Give away exactly what it is straight away. But
that's alright. We won the coin flip, we're fine. This is a bad start.
Yeah, I mean, you said that there's not that many bad starters. There's a lot of decent starters, but these are not.
I kind of want to just put the Lele down.
You don't really need Wonder Tag next on this following turn.
Yeah,
it's not a bad play, but
like I'm not happy with either of them. Right. It doesn't, does it? But Tapu Koko is just completely useless. Whereas, yeah, I'm just gonna play the Lele down. Like Tapu Koko is useless unless you're attacking to knock out with it. So we'll just see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? Best thing that could happen is I was literally just about to say. Best thing that could happen is top deck an Ultra Ball, and there it is.
Seems good.
So let's get rid of that Tapu Koko. I'm going to get rid of the Cynthia as well. I reckon I might grab that Jirachi. Oh, it's lucky I checked because our Jolteon is prized.
Yep.
No worries. We don't have a huge amount of draw supporters left, but that's fine.
Jolteon seems like it'd be pretty decent in a matchup like this as well.
I reckon I'm just going to escape rope. I'll keep that Electro Power. I'll just Lily for 6.
No energy is unfortunate.
That's alright. This is fine.
Is this a let loose turn, do you think?
Potentially.
Oh, I haven't used Stellar Wish yet.
We'll see what we get. I reckon we might let loose. I'm just going to grab the energy switch.
Let loose on turn 1 is potentially enough to just win the game outright regardless.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to get rid of the energy switch, and I'm going to get rid of the Acerola as well, because I want my Electro Powers and I want my draw supporters after I do this let loose.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And we will just annoy our opponent here.
Hopefully.
Hopefully they get nothing. Yeah, look at that, we got an energy. And we got a draw supporter.
And Nest Ball means we can power up whichever Pokemon we want to, but Zapdos seems like it'll do.
I'm just going to chuck it on the Zapdos. We'll leave it be for the moment. Because
I'm guessing this is a Malamar deck.
this looks like a Malamar list. Based on what we've got. But hey, there's 6 prizes on the board.
There is.
So we can't complain. And there's also a pretty good chance based on the fact that it's taking quite a long time to do something. Oh, they've got an Ultra Ball. Don't worry about it. I was about to have a sentence, but no, don't worry about it.
What was the supporter they just discarded underneath the use one?
Adana. Oh, we're going for girls to attach energy.
This might not be a Malamar deck.
This could be anything now, Jordan. This could be literally anything.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, if they pull off that quad supporter combo and power up this Snorlax's turn, I'd be pretty scared.
Yeah, I'd be upset. I'd be real upset.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but...
The fact that they're about to play a Cynthia is a positive. I don't think we can complain.
Yeah, if it is a Malamar deck, then we're doing pretty well, because I don't have too much space.
There's not a lot of Malamars coming in here, are there?
I'm gonna guess they're planning on just powering up this Snorlax the old-fashioned way. And they're pretty close to doing that already.
It's almost powered up. Let's not go crazy. I probably don't need that Absol, because everything here is pretty fat anyway.
What is good about Snorlax is that it doesn't hit basic Pokemon for that much damage, so going for a strong attacker like Zekrom is actually pretty hard for Snorlax to deal with.
And I reckon I'm actually going to put a Zekrom on the field now.
Yeah, I think powering up Zekrom as fast as possible is going to be the key here.
So let's chuck that down, and then I'm going to Lily for 5 now. Ooh, okay, let's see. I'm going to Stellar Wish before I Nest Ball, because that will affect my decision here. Okay. Because I was just going, if I can get Thunder Mountain off this, then I can attack with Pikachu Zekrom this turn. But I think instead, what I'm going to do... It does 120. That's annoying.
I mean, in theory, you just attack with the Zapdos this turn to put the Snorlax in range of a full Blitz. And then next turn, you maybe Nest Ball for Coco Prism and power up the Zekrom that way?
Yeah, I think so too. We're going to do that. I'm going to grab this Electropower. I'm going to switch into Zapdos. And I'm going to Electropower onto this guy to do 110. And then I'm just going to say... Thunderous Assault. Take 110. And we'll see what happens.
So, in theory, next turn you can Nest Ball for Coco Prism and pull off a full Blitz.
In theory.
You will need 10 more damage, though.
That's okay. It's alright. It's going to be fine.
That's what Jirachi's for.
It's going to be fine. I'm not worried about it. Best case scenario here, he attaches an energy and kills the Zapdos.
Oh.
Or he does nothing.
I feel like that's even better.
Also fine. Also fine.
It's still not that unreasonable for us to take this Snorlax out this turn, but it's much harder now.
Yeah, I don't actually know how we're going to go about it. Because we can still do the Nest Ball into Tapu Koko Prism play.
But there's no energy in discard, is there?
There is not.
Yeah, it makes it a lot harder, especially since we don't get the free Jirachi.
Well, actually, what we... No, we're not going to do that. Goodness gracious me. Oh, and I'm running out of time. Let's just switch into Jirachi.
Yep.
And set ourselves up here. Because best case scenario, we can Stellar Wish into something like, ooh, like a Guzma or an Energy Switch.
They're not the best cards.
No, but it's something. I'm just going to grab the Energy Switch, I think.
Problem is, if you don't take the Guzma, then you don't attack this turn, but is there an attack worth using right now?
Well, we're really just going to be half-hitting something else.
It's not great, but...
let's just half-hit something else.
Yeah. At the very least, maybe set up one of those GXs, tag Team GX on the bench for a tag vault for game.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop this guy for 80.
I don't think the tag vault's coming out anytime soon, but it's
but we're
a decent option for the future.
We've got a chance maybe. And now he still needs to pay 2 to retreat, and yeah, we've got some stuff going on. It's fine.
We'll see what he chooses to get with the Stevens, I suppose.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if Guzma is one of the cards.
I hope it wasn't a switching card.
Well, once again, I mean, I guess he could go Choice Band Guzma to kill Zekrom with his Snorlax.
That would be frustrating. That would be pretty crippling. But, you know, it's not the end of the world.
We're definitely falling prey to, as you were saying earlier, not having too many draw supporters.
Yeah, the lack of draw supports. It's crippling us, especially since we don't have the, we're going to have to get the Zero Aura down next turn so that we can Jirachi again.
I mean, you can't say we haven't tried. We've literally put down all 3 of our support Pokemon already.
Yeah, we've given it a red hot crack on turn 1, haven't we?
We didn't really get a chance to use one of them, but...
That's okay, that's okay. It's gonna be fine. Oh, just a pass, okay.
Obviously our opponent did not take the correct cards with Steven.
Oh my goodness.
That's not what I would usually expect to have happen after your opponent's Stevens. They usually have a pretty good follow-up turn after that.
Yeah, usually they would, wouldn't they? I'm gonna nest ball for Zero.
They didn't really have a good response though.
Oh, that was a great response.
Huh.
He conceded.
That worked.
That's fine. Should we do another? The videos,
yeah, why not?
We've been going for about 25 minutes. We'll try one more. We extend that winning streak to 3, Jordan. Greatest Pokemon trainer in the world.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. What's on the ladder this month? I got Marshadow there. I don't know. Alright, let's see what happens here. That was something else. We've had some real garbage on our PTCGO videos, Jordan. I don't know if you saw the Pikachu's the Zapdos Jirachi one, but there was, good grief, Charlie Brown, there was some bad stuff there.
I'm pretty sure that resulted in a loss, so we must be pretty bad.
Well, we are pretty bad. The Blacephalon was also pretty average too. He played 30 seconds against a what's its face? Okay, here we go. We got something going on here.
You're 1-0 Aura away from having a good turn.
Yeah, I guess. Just gonna start like this. We'll see what happens. We've got a nice Pikachu Zekrom sleeves for his Gardevoir deck.
Yep.
Cool.
Alright, so just make sure you don't put all 6 energy on the one Zekrom, and I think we'll be fine.
It should be fine, you reckon?
Just don't put all 6 energy on one Zekrom.
Okay, I won't.
Keep that in mind.
I'll put 5 energy on one. And then...
That's also risky.
Okay, so maybe not.
Alright.
We've got a Jirachi.
Active.
I'm gonna put this Zapdos here. I'm gonna put that there because it means that we can do stuff if we get a Zero Aura. Then let's Cynthia and see what happens.
Well, you need to redraw the energy switch now. Well, those cards are not playable. What a missed opportunity. Killing that Ralts.
It would have been great. It would have been great.
It's not a Ralts anymore.
No, now it's a big boy.
Let's just be grateful that Gallade is no longer in format.
Yep. Yep.
It's officially a half hit though.
On the plus side, we can Acerola this Pikachu Zekrom and hit this Gardevoir for a hot 80 damage.
That is pretty good. But Gardevoir will instantly return the Zapdos for 120 and remove our energy off the board, so...
I don't like your negativity there, Jordan. I don't like your negativity, alright?
Acerola is certainly a strong play on this time.
Alright, let's have a look and see what I've got going on. There's not a lot going on. We've got copies of everything that we could need.
It's a shame that you can't really activate Jirachi this turn safely.
Yeah, it's a bit of a gamble. I've only got 1 energy switch. Okay.
Well, that's what happens when he runs 2. The safe play is just to Acerola the active and hit with Zapdos, but you need to ask what's the follow-up play after that.
Well, we've got the Volkner next turn, so we could potentially... Oh, that's a gamble as well.
I feel like Acerola into Zapdos is realistically the only play that this hand offers.
It's probably the best option that we've got.
And there's not many.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna leave the Zekrom in hand, I think.
Yep,
And then
I agree with that.
And then just go for the Thunderous Assault. And we'll just do enough damage to annoy him.
Hopefully, Jirachi is able to set us up well next turn.
Hopefully. Hopefully this time of all is Two Tails. I'm the best Pokemon trainer in the world.
Certainly helps.
That was all me. That was all me.
I feel like if either of those were heads, this game was gonna quickly
gonna
get out
be
of
very
control.
over. It's gonna go very, very wrong, very, very fast.
They're like one Swampert away from just having the perfect board.
Yep. This
So
could be
Swampert?
it. This could be it. Yep. We're in trouble.
Alright, so we can't rely on them missing anytime soon.
Nope.
It's a hollow Swampert.
It is. That's weird. It's like a shattered hollow, like a starter decky one. That's pretty cool.
It's a pretty good starter deck.
I didn't even realise that it was one.
Must be.
Well, indeed it must.
Oh
Alright.
boy, we really asked for supporters last game. Way too hard. And we're missing the one supporter that would actually be good on this turn. My thoughts are just using Volkner to get an energy on the board, and then sacking a Jirachi is the best bet.
Yeah. What we could do is we could play down the second Jirachi
And Guzma.
Guzma. But would that achieve anything? Probably not.
I feel like not getting Angie on this turn would set you way far behind.
Is a big problem, yeah. I also kind of want to Ultra Ball for an Eevee to get Jolteon. But that...
Not a bad option.
But that means that I need to get...
Do keep in mind that the Jolteon is in hand.
Oh yeah, nah, forget it. We'll just grab the Ultra Ball.
It's probably the more useful part
Oh
of the
goodness. This was supposed to be fun. Alright, let's Volkner. I'm just gonna go straight to the energy because I know that's what I want.
A rare time when the Angie is more important than the item.
I'm thinking I can get an escape board and then escape board into the other Jirachi and attach the energy to the Jirachi.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Like-
I mean, I wouldn't attach to the Jirachi, but I don't mind the.
Oh, but you know what I
escape board.
mean? We can escape board and into the Jirachi.
Yep, and then
Let's do that.
maybe even get a Cynthia for next turn.
Maybe. We should be so lucky.
And this means assuming they don't Guzma, we'll be able to keep the Jirachi as a pivot for.
Yeah, exactly.
the long
Oh,
term.
there's that Cynthia for next turn.
Is the Thunder Mountain stronger though?
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that it might be.
Because I feel like the Thunder Mountain is a card that's required for next turn.
But here's the problem. We're still missing a card. Let's do it.
I
Let's
mean,
just
you've
grab
got
it.
you've got the
Let's-
Ultra Ball Lily to draw cards anyway.
I'm grabbing it. I'm grabbing it. I'm gonna put down this. I'm gonna attach this here. And then it is your turn.
I think that's about the best that we could have done with that.
The best we could have hoped for.
Next turn, the full blitz for knockout on the active Guardy is pretty likely. And then after that, they probably won't be able to kill Zekrom and we can maybe get something going.
Yeah, we
This
could
looks
possibly
quite
get there. The problem that I'm having is that they've got a fat hand and they're going to be able to cover everything that we do pretty easily.
Yeah, but at the same time, no matter how big their hand is, I don't think that a Gardevoir can come out of nowhere and KO a 3NG Zekrom. I think that that's a bit too much of an ask.
A bit of a risk, you reckon?
Like, they would need, what was it, like 6 energy to do that? So they'd need to start investing like a bunch of energy onto a Rolls right now.
I think that's what they're doing.
Alternatively, another play is if their hand is looking really scary, this could be just an Ultra Ball for Let Loose next turn.
That's true. We could do that.
We'll have to judge to see if it's worth it.
Depending
certainly think that could be a
depending on
strong
what our top deck is, if we can Guzma kill this Swampert with Pikachu Zekrom and then Marshadow, that could be a solid play.
Guzma killing the Swampert is scary though. I don't really want to leave 3 energy on an active Gardevoir. But I will say that the Swampert is a prime target for a Tag Bolt bench smite in the future maybe.
Yes, 100%. The only thing
Mine
is that it
tells
leaves us
coming.
on odd prizes, but that's okay.
It does. I mean, in theory, we should have been on odd prizes already by killing that Rolt's turn.
But
oh, well.
we didn't kill it, so let's just stop talking about it. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. We're gonna move past it
coming
together.
down means that they're probably getting a second Gardevoir this turn.
Yep.
That's usually what Ninetales means.
They could even potentially be getting 2 Gardevoirs, which would upset me immensely.
Yeah. They get at least one.
It's one. It's gonna get one.
I was a little scared of them actually going for Max Potion on this turn. But that would put them at -3 energy, so...
Yeah, that's potentially a problem.
I don't think they'll do that just because it's quite a loss of resources, but if they do, it's pretty scary.
That's true.
It would mean we need like a Choice Band double Electropower playing next turn.
Okay.
No, they're actually not getting a Gardevoir.
They're not doing anything. They're not worried about it. They're just going to take a prize and go for it.
It's almost like they're asking us to use Let Loose.
They really want it. And we got the Nest Ball.
I feel like Let Loose just has to happen.
Let Loose is definitely happening. So I'm going to grab the Tapu Koko.
Playing the Thunder Mountain also guarantees that we'll get the knockout even if we miss the attachment.
We get the knockout here, for sure.
Oh, sorry, not the knockout, but at least the attack.
150 plus... Is 150 plus 80 not 230?
Oh yeah, that does it.
Whoosh! Jeez, you scared me for a minute there. Like I was almost certain that was the case.
I put myself in the mindset that they used the Max Potion last time.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yes, this looks like a very strong play.
Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to save myself the Stellar Wish.
Yeah, see if you can use Stellar Wish to get an Electropower for the following turn, maybe.
Yeah, I'd really like another Pokemon as well, if we could put one down. Although the Energy Switch is not a bad option.
Well, you don't even need to use the Cocoa Prism now, which is good.
Yeah.
Through the energy, you can save the Cocoa Prism for later.
I can grab this escape board. And I'll put that... I don't need to put that... Oh, yeah. Let's
You're going to dance the Ancients now?
Yeah, let's dance now. The silliest animation in all of Pokemon.
Correct.
We'll put that there. I'm just gonna... Do I attach or do I Lily and try and attach to something else? I'm gonna Lily and try and attach to something else. It didn't pay off, but that's fine.
Putting the energy down still means it's energy switch.
Energy switch is still... Yeah, exactly. So we're still gonna do it, but...
You just need to be careful of where you put it due to how Gardevoir works, but they have no energy on board now, so it's not...
And they've got no Gardevoir, so... Can't complain. I almost don't want to take all of them.
How much energy would they need to kill you?
I kind of only want to take one and put it somewhere. Because they need Gardevoir, 369. I reckon we can probably afford to put one.
Put one on Marshadow maybe so you can energy switch attack next turn.
I think so. Because then we still have the option if we draw an energy to Tag Bolt, but we don't get screwed over by Gardevoir. I think that's a good play. And if they do get a Gardevoir next turn, then we've got, as long as we get the energy, we've got the knockout on that Gardevoir with Tag Bolt GX next turn, presuming that our Zekrom doesn't die as well.
The only way that they get the knockout is double Gardevoir.
Solgaleo.
It's been a while since we've seen him. But yeah, they need double Gardevoir, double Secret Spring, DC Choice Band.
Which is asking a lot.
It wouldn't have been that unrealistic if they actually played their cards last turn and got a Gardevoir.
Yeah, but for some reason they didn't.
They need to find all those cards again now, without the excess of Ninetales. Ooh, Guzma, that's a good sign for us.
That's positive.
We can play, potentially? And as I was saying earlier, this seems like the ideal turn to Tag Bolt up that Swampert.
Yeah, I reckon if I can, I'm going to Guzma kill that Alola Ninetales GX.
Honestly, if you draw an energy, you could even Tag Bolt to knock out both rolls.
Ooh, that would be pretty good.
Well, you've got access to the Guzma, but
doesn't look
no
like we're
energy.
going to get the energy. Tag Bolt though.
I mean, you can still Tag Bolt with a energy draw, it just can't be alongside a Guzma.
Yeah.
You'd have to just settle for the Swampert Vulpix knockout, which is still strong.
That's fine, yeah, but let's Stellar Wish, see what happens. Oh, well, we can get some more Guzma, so I guess we get another Guzma.
Hmm.
Okay, there's a part of me... Oh man, this is not amazing, is it?
I just feel like at this point, if you Tag Bolt and then get Return KO, it's like the only way you will lose at this point.
Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this guy up. This is what I'm going to do.
And just full blitz the active.
Yeah.
I like that play.
And I might grab, or... Which
Second Pika.
Yeah, I reckon that's probably fine.
I think this is the safest play possible.
Yeah. It's not amazing, but it's probably a decent choice. A decent choice.
Judging from their beacon last turn as well, they're probably going to be benching Tapu Lele this turn, which means the Tag Bolt next turn will be for game instead of for 2 prizes.
Yeah. But we still are in a position where we need an energy, and we also can't let them replace the stadium.
Yeah. And considering how many energy we've sucked out of the deck now, finding an energy isn't as easy as it sounds.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Now 22
can't-
cards and there's 3 left.
We
And
can't
we can't
Lele for
accelerate
Volkma, because we've already used Volkma.
Because we had that improbably slow start.
But honestly, that start, while it was decent, it's certainly gone pretty bad.
Yeah, it's gone downhill pretty quickly.
There's 2 of the 8 or so cards that they need for the knockout.
Yep. And there's a Lele down, so if we do manage to get a Tag Bolt off, then we do win.
Yeah.
But it still comes down to that energy, or another energy switch. I think we
And
only
you
had one in
need
deck.
a multiplier to kill the active Darby as well, technically.
Well, yes, but I'd be Guzmaring out something else.
Yeah. Alright, Lily for 2. Doesn't seem like the best supporter they could have played.
Yeah, it's not an amazing choice. Okay, so he's double attached. Infinite Force.
180.
Okay, here we go. Doesn't get the energy, but that's okay, because we've got a bunch of stuff. I'm going to switch into Jirachi. I'm going to Stellar Wish.
I think that you're more likely to get the win here with Lily over Guzma.
I think so too. Which is why I'm going to try and thin out my deck as best as I can.
Well, double Ultra Ball means that it's going to be a pretty good Lily.
It's going to be a solid one. I'm going to go like this, get rid of the Absol, I'm going to get rid of Guzma as well. And I'm going to grab a Zero Aura. That's
Just
fine
anything
choice.
you can Ultra Ball away.
Yep.
You're not going to Ultra Ball?
No, I can just put him down. I don't like...
Huh?
Because I could Ultra Ball away the Lele and the Nest Ball. But if...
It just means that you thin one less card because you don't play the Nest Ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Oh, I can still play the Nest Ball. That doesn't matter.
I mean, if you bench the Zero Aura, you wouldn't be able to play the Nest Ball.
Yeah. Let's grab this Eevee. We will Nest Ball. Let's put down this Zapdos.
And that is the maximum amount of cards you can fit in the deck this turn.
Now the question is, do we gamble on... because we need to energy switch.
I think you do it anyway, because even if you don't, you can still just use the damage Zekrom.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll do that, and then we Lily for 6. All we need to do is hit an energy.
And a choice
band.
Oh, we got both. So
We
6.
do it. We're the greatest in the world. And now all I need to do is make sure that I click all the right buttons.
The only Pokemon on the bench that you can't click on is Honey.
I'll click on the Lele then. That seems pretty good.
It'll do.
It will do. Well, there you go. It's a pretty solid deck, that Pikachu Zekrom. Can't
I
complain.
still feel like I'd love to see a third energy switch, but overall the list seemed to work decently fine when it wasn't bricking.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be complaining. It seemed pretty good to me.
I
Alright.
would agree.
Well, once my little thing loads up, we'll leave it at that. Thanks very much, Jordan, for coming along and being with us on this fantastic occasion. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Enjoy all of your Pokemon adventures in the future. I need a better outro than the one that I've been going with, because I think it's too long. But you know, you got an idea, then put it in the comments. You know, make yourself feel good about yourself. Interact, ring bells. You know, hit like buttons, subscribe. Anyway,
all that good stuff.
I ramble so much at the end, but that's fine. Anyway, that's enough from us. We'll see you next time on the Sableyes. Thanks for coming along. Thanks, Jordan.
You're welcome.
And we'll see you all later on. Goodbye.